Hello guys, in this video I want to talk to you about Franz Brentano and his view of history of philosophy. There is surprisingly few videos on Brentano, and I thought I should make some because I think a lot of people are interested, especially Brentano was the teacher of Edmund Husserl, and if you want to study phenomenology seriously, you cannot avoid Brentano. And by the way, one of his students was Freud. So Freud and Husserl, they both were students of Brentano, and it's kind of interesting how different they ended up, becoming. But there was something really like similar between Freud and Husserl, and that's that they really kind of believed in just working with what is given to consciousness. Okay, so they both just kind of said like metaphysics, dialectics, like speculation. Let's get rid of it, just whatever we are given. And they got this, philosophy from Brentano. Okay, so Brentano is really difficult and really bizarre. I gotta say that. He's very challenging and he's pretty incomprehensible. Like a lot of his, some of his shorter essays are not so bad, but his psychology from an empirical point of view is pretty incomprehensible. I mean, the I've read it. I made a video about it actually. That's where we get intentionality and all these acts of, but the most important thing is, the most important thing to understand about, Brentano as a philosopher is what he thinks happened to philosophy. Kind of like, according to Heidegger, ever since Plato, philosophers have been, wrong about being. And, according to Brentano, there's kind of a similar dramatic big picture about what happened to philosophy. And according to Brentano, philosophy got bad essentially with Kant. Okay? For Brentano, good philosophy ends with Descartes. Okay, Descartes wanted to have clear, distinct, scientific system of philosophical knowledge. And, Brentano thinks Descartes was a terrific philosopher. Everything's good. It makes sense. It pursues a good goal. Just simply get certain knowledge. Okay? And after Descartes, things went downhill, according to Brentano. Well, Hume, I had a picture of Hume somewhere. Well, it doesn't matter. Who cares about Hume? Hume challenged, rationalist philosophy to a great extent with, his concept of sort of rational skepticism. For Hume rejected causality. He thought that, we cannot have, an understanding of causality. Like, for instance, you just see one billiard ball striking another one, flying off, but that's all we are given. We just see one ball, touching another ball, the next ball moving off. But we don't consciously experience causality. And Kant said, well, hell no, we do. Because causality is a priori. And then Kant, writes the Critique of Pure Reason, which is, with his complicated doctrines of space and time, and, how space and time are a priori forms of intuition. And Brentano thinks that Kant is totally wrong about everything. Okay? Brentano calls Kant's philosophy of blind prejudice. Okay? And because of this philosophy of blind prejudice, we get horrible, things like Hegel And according to Brentano, Hegel, and then we get, Schopenhauer and Nietzsche, and, Nietzsche is just as bad as it gets. According to Brentano. So philosophy is to some extent like science because it has good kind of has a priori scientific clear just question and answer about nature type of aspect to it, and that's a good thing for Brentano. So the scientific aspect of philosophy is good. But according to Brentano, philosophy is also like an art in that it gets corrupt, it gets decadent, it goes downhill, and utmost garbage, becomes this genius, incredible, fashionable thing. Kind of like Picasso. I mean, his art is like, is it even art? Well, they say it is, but that's kind of how Brentano thinks about philosophy. It's good for as long as it's scientific, but then it gets kind of, when it goes downhill, it becomes more like art, in that absolute garbage becomes the central theme. And what we gotta do is we gotta get back to the scientific philosophy, which in our most recent time ended with Descartes. So that's what Brentano's philosophical project was all about.